So I got into the game of cricket through my dad. He used to play professionally, but we're a cricket mad family. So my dad used to play, my uncles used to play, and ever since I can remember, cricket has always been around in the family and playing at home and stuff like that. So yeah, it was almost inevitable that I was going to end up playing in some shape or form. And I remember playing with my dad and my mum in the kitchen, in the garden, sort of anywhere I could really. So yeah, it was inevitable that I was going to end up playing. Yeah, so I started at Loughton Cricket Club when I was about 9. My dad took me down there. He used to coach there actually. So I used to go down there on Friday nights after school, and at that time there weren't many women and girls clubs, and so I used to play down there with the boys. I loved it though, to be honest. I think it kind of shaped the cricketer that I then became. So yeah, like I said, used to go down there on a Friday night and play on Sunday mornings, and I think that's kind of where my love for the game really grew. I also played at school with the boys, so I didn't really play much girls cricket until I started playing for Essex in sort of the representative cricket. But yeah, so sort of played with all the boys from the age of 9 and growing up throughout that age. So the step up from club cricket into age group cricket at Essex wasn't probably as noticeable when I was younger. I think just because I loved the game and was just doing it purely for the enjoyment, I didn't realise. The main difference for me was going from playing with boys then to playing with girls, and that's something I hadn't done before. The first time I actually played with girls was at that first Essex trial down at Harold Wood that my parents took me to, and I loved it. And obviously I made more friends with girls in the sport and people who had sort of like-minded interests as me, which was obviously a really great thing to be a part of. Yeah, it was a really special moment to sort of then go into the Essex women's team. I think I made my debut when I was about 14, 15, something like that. But I think sort of when you were back then, you were a lot younger when you made your debuts for for the women's teams. And yeah, it was a really special moment. Obviously, I'd made my way through the Essex pathway, and then to make that debut and to then go on to captain the side was a very special moment. So for me, to move from Essex to Middlesex was that I just wanted a new challenge. I'd been at Essex, like I said, from the age of 9. I'd been there for so many years, and I just wanted to try something new, something different. Middlesex was also one of the front runners in terms of sort of championing women's cricket. They had a great setup, great coaches, and Sandra's the coach. He was one of Dad's friends as well, so it was nice and he's a brilliant coach. So to then come into this environment at Middlesex, yeah, it just felt like a natural move and a natural step for me in the way that I wanted to take my cricket, and the way they were moving the game forward was something I wanted to be a part of, and yeah, I was happy to make the move across. Yeah, it was interesting. That was literally the next step up though from the county system. Was then playing pretty much semi-professional cricket. It gave us a lot more exposure. We were now playing in front of cameras, we were now being streamed, and it brought a different element to the women's game that we hadn't really been exposed to before. Obviously the standard then also increased. We had overseas players come in, and that was the first time that I'd really played with players from overseas. So I remember playing with Marizanne Kapp, Nat Siver, and playing with those players who were playing at the highest level of the game, and being able to learn from them over those couple of years that I played in the Super League was very special, and I learned so much along that journey. Obviously I was playing for our rivals down in Surrey, but it was albeit it was a brilliant experience, and one that I look back fondly on. I think the regional structure brought a new element to women's cricket. It took the game from semi-professional into fully professional, and I think it was the moment we realised that cricket was now a viable and achievable career option for so many women and girls, and it really took women's cricket to the next level. With Sunrisers coming about, it gave me the opportunity to obtain my first contract, my first professional contract, and I remember getting the call from Danny actually. It was in 2020 and it was during COVID, so it was obviously during a really difficult time, but it was such a special moment because this is something I dreamed about from when I was tiny, when I was really young. I wanted to always play professional cricket, following in my dad's footsteps, so to speak, and having that opportunity from Danny and Sunrisers was extremely special. It meant that I would be able to give 100% to cricket. It was something I'd never been able to do. I'd always been balancing it with my studies, whether that was my GCSEs, A-levels, my degree, and now I was able to fully commit and give everything to cricket. And there was a time sort of just before that, for 18 months, where I was focusing purely on my cricket, and I wanted to give it the best shot before I had to go into law, because at that point women's cricket wasn't professional. So with the regional setup, it meant that I was able to then just throw myself fully into my cricket and give everything to that. Life's changed massively for me since my first pro contract. I've been able to, like I said, give everything to my cricket. I've been able to put my law degree on hold. I'm currently doing my LPC, but that's alongside, and law's very much on the back burner for me. I don't need to worry about having to balance that with my cricket, and I can focus purely on my cricket. And it's something I dreamed about from when I was 9, when I started down at Loughton. It was obtaining this professional contract, and I've been able to give everything to that, and it's given me opportunities that I never thought would have been possible. So then playing obviously professional cricket for the Sunrisers, then to go on to play in the 100, and then to play overseas as well. So these are opportunities that I could only have dreamt about. So yeah, it's obviously a really exciting time to be a part of women's cricket, and the trajectory that it's currently taking is mind-blowing, and I think it's only going to go up and up from here. I think personally, I think the 100's been brilliant. I think for us as domestic players, it's a new, exciting brand of cricket, and we get to play with and against some of the best players in the world, at some of the best venues in the world. So it's really special to be able to do that. And I think also as domestic players, it's given us that exposure, and it's given us an opportunity to showcase our skills on the world stage, which we previously didn't have. Obviously we had the Super League before that, but it's given us that opportunity to do that on a larger scale, and we've seen that it's paid off for a lot of our domestic players who've then been able to go and play in the BBL or the IPL or other franchise tournaments. So I think it's been brilliant for women's cricket, but it's also been great for cricket as a whole. I think we're starting to change perceptions around the game. We're starting to get new audiences involved, but also cricket's being made more accessible. It's been shown on like the BBC, which means that more people can watch it and then start to get involved in the game, which I think is absolutely brilliant. I'd never thought I'd be able to walk out at some of the venues that I have, at, like you said, Old Trafford, Lords, Headingley. They've all been so special. I think for me the most special is Lords. I remember my parents taking me to Lords to watch games when I was younger. When Charlotte Edwards was captain, they would take me down there to watch the England women or come and watch Middlesex. And to think that I can now step out onto that same ground and to play, it's obviously such an amazing ground, such a prestigious ground. And I just never dreamed that I'd be able to do that. And it's such a pinch me moment every time I do. And I know we've got a few matches there again this year, some double headers with the men, so it's always going to be a really exciting summer for us, and I can't wait to walk out there again. I think My inspiration sort of growing up was Serena Williams. I know she's not a cricketer, but as a young girl, watching a young black female athlete dominate the sport the way that she did, I think was absolutely incredible. And I took true inspiration from her. And I think not only the way that she achieved so much success on the court, I think the way she was so passionate about the things that she believed in off the court was so special to see, and to see someone fighting for things that she believed in was something that I wanted to sort of take into my own life and to try and replicate. Obviously, haven't been able to do it to the extent that she has so far, but she was just such an inspiration growing up, and I kind of very much looked up to her. Yeah, the people I probably look back on as having the biggest influence, and it probably sounds cliche, but it's my parents. They've been with me through thick and thin, and I'm so grateful for everything that they've done for me. My dad has been my coach from day one. The amount of hours that he's put into coaching me, passing his knowledge down, and just always being there for me has been amazing, and I'm so grateful to him. But also my mum, she's also thrown a few balls at me in my time, so and she's ferried me around the country, and they both come to my games, every single game, from when I was tiny, when I was 9 to now. I can't thank them enough, and they've always been there for me to offer advice and support, and yeah, I can't thank them enough. Yeah, it's so important to have that support network around you. I think in cricket you make friends for life, and it's funny that some of the girls I grew up playing Essex with, so Kel, Mads, Speedy, it's come full circle and we're playing again together here at Sunrisers. So you really do make friends for life, and it does sound cliche to say, but it's them who really get you through. It's your sort of support network, whether that's your family, whether that's your friends. Those supporting you along the way, they're so important in your journey, and mine have been just as important in my journey as well. No, I don't think I regret anything with regards to the decision that I made to withdraw from the England pathway. I think at the time, you could only be a professional cricketer if you played for England. And being at university, my final year of a law degree, it came to a point where if I wanted to give everything to my studies, I would have to withdraw from that programme. And I think that was for the best. And I've been lucky enough now to be given, I guess, a second bite of the cherry, to be able to play professional cricket, having finished my studies, and I can give everything now to cricket. So I feel really lucky and really grateful for everything that's happened. I know I had to withdraw back then, but still looking to play for England is something that I'm looking to do. It's still on the cards, hopefully, for me. And I think as long as I just keep looking to improve every single day and to have successful seasons for Sunrisers, that's all I can hope for. And if I do get selected, that would be amazing. And it would be a real honour, obviously. But yeah, I don't regret a thing that so far, or anything any decisions that I've made. I think it's been all for the best. Gosh, there's so many memories that I probably look back on and with great fondness. So sort of those days, like I said, down at Loughton, going down there on a Sunday morning, or my parents taking me to Lords to watch games, or playing with the boys at school. But to be honest, I think the memories that I'm making now, in a few years, they're the ones that I'm going to look back on with the greatest fondness. I think we've got such a special Sunrisers team, and we've got so much potential, and we saw that at the back end of last season. The opportunities that are now available to us as female cricketers, I think these are the moments in a few years I'll look back and think they were pretty special moments, and I really can't wait to see what sort of the future holds. I think it's a special one. I've been lucky enough to play with some incredible players. So Marizanne Kapp is definitely up there. She's one of the most talented and skillful players I've ever seen, to be honest, with both bat and ball. And I was lucky enough to play with her last year in the Invincibles and a couple of years ago as well in the KSL. So seeing how she goes about her business and the passion that she displays on the pitch is unbelievable. Danae van Niekerk, who we had here with us at Sunrisers, we were really lucky to have her last year. She's also one of the best players I've had the pleasure of playing with. I remember last year playing down at Beckenham, I was batting with her, and she nailed one of the girls for 4 fours in a row, and I was just down the other end. And it was just incredible to watch, just the way that she dominates players. And you can see why she's one of the best in the world. She's honestly absolutely incredible. Gosh, it's tough to say, but I think the best thing about being a professional cricketer is that I can pretty much live the dream that I wanted to when I was a little girl. This is something I've always wanted to do, and to be able to have the opportunity to be able to do that now is so special. To have all the resources that we do, all the coaching support from cricket coaches to S&C to physios, and all the opportunities that are arising with the 100 and all the other franchise tournaments. It's so special to be able to travel around the world, to play here at the best grounds with the best players. I don't think you can really ask for much more. As a 9-year-old kid, I never thought this was possible. So yeah, it's really special to be able to do that. The advice I'd offer to young girls is to dream big. I think being a professional cricketer is now an achievable career option for any young girl out there, and so if the opportunity presents itself, grab it with both hands. It's such an exciting time to be involved in the women's game, whatever capacity that is. And for me, there's 3 really important things, and the first one is to work hard, be open to learning, 2, to believe in yourself, and I think lastly and most importantly is the reason we play the game is to enjoy it. Just have the best time with all your mates, really.